Ray Skywalker. I'm here to train the next generation of Jedi. But first, you should probably know where I come from. See, I come from the desert planet of Jakku. And on this island, on this planet, I had to fend for myself. I learned everything I knew from there. But I learned more with the Force. So yeah, this is my survival guide. Ray's survival guide. Read the back of it. A good rule for survival on Jakku: don't ask. My name's Ray. A generation ago, the Empire fought the New Republic in the Battle of Jakku. All that remains is an inhospitable desert, a graveyard of ships and bones, where most of their spacecraft came down. They make a living by scavenging parts and equipment from the wrecks. I don't know how I got here or why. What you hold in your hands is my survival guide to life on this hostile planet. What do you want to salvage? What should you avoid to stay alive? Open this book, discover what you need to survive. Now I'll only read you a little bit of it, just give you a head start. I need you to study this, as this book contains everything I've learned from Jakku. If you're reading this, then something's gone wrong. You're stranded on Jakku, a barren little planet with nothing but baking sand, hot sun, and wrecked starships. Stranded like me. My name is Ray. I've been here my whole life, scratching out a living with the lost and broken. I don't know how I got here or why, but no, it was a mistake. And somebody out there will make things right someday. That means I need to wait for them. That means I need to survive. And this is a portrait I drew myself. Not so bad. That's why. That's what I've learned to do on Jakku. I'm writing this to pass the time, to pass on what I've learned, so you have a chance to survive too. The only reason anyone's ever heard of Jakku is because a long time ago, a lot of people died here. There was a battle, fought in space, with ships on fire, plunging out the skies, to lie entombed in the sands. It's the most important thing that has ever happened on Jakku. But that's not saying much, because as far as I know, it's the only important thing that's ever happened on Jakku. This picture's X-Wing here. This X-Wing has been sitting here as long as I can remember. If you ask the people who live here why they do, you get a number of answers. None of them are good. Some live here because it is where they were born. It's all they've ever known. Ask them about other planets, and they'll look at you like you're crazy. Some of them don't even know that there's anything beyond the next village, or over their ridge and horizon. Some were even running from something, the law, or trouble past, or their own failure to become what they wanted to be. They wound up on Jakku, because it's about as far as you can go in the galaxy without coming to the end of the stars. There are those who have ended up here because of bad luck. They never wanted to stay, but the galaxy had other ideas, and so they wait for something good to happen to them, even though it probably won't. Not with all of Jakku's dangers. They wait and they survive. I'm going to tell you how to do that. Pilgrim's Road here. Picture of a sunken Star Destroyer. The only real place on Pilgrim's Road is Old Mary's, a shack with a few tables and chairs, a cool reservoir that went dry. Oh, I'm sorry, I seem to miss a page. Jakku locations, which makes sense. Before you came to Jakku, I bet you thought it was small and unimportant, and you were right. But up close, every plant is gigantic and full of mysteries, including ones that will kill you. Here's your first survival lesson. Know your surroundings. I live in a Goes on Badlands. It's not really a place, which I know sounds strange, but hear me out. If you ask the locals where the Goes on is, they'll tell you it's between Nema Outpost and the Kelvin Ravine, or they'll say it's between Carbon Ridge and the Sinking Fields. Can't say if you're any of those places, but know that you're somewhere in between them, and you're in the Goes on. There isn't much vegetation here. A few spine barrels in the shadows, and maybe a night bloomer where a bit of dirt piled up in cracks in rocks. It's mostly broken land, low hills and shelves of bare stone that slope down the heights of Carbon Ridge. As you head away from Carbon Ridge, the Badlands flatten out, and the sand builds up until you find yourself crossing in the Sinking Fields. If you go that far, you miss the road, which is really just a half-board trail. In Nema, they call it the Pilgrim's Road, because if you follow it, eventually you'll come to the sacred villages on the far side of Kelvin Ravine. But I don't remember how many pilgrims using it these days anymore on the road. It's probably a scavenger heading for the graveyard of ships, which isn't a really good way to find salvation either. But more about that in a bit. Sorry, I seem to have some sand stuck on there. Here's our drawing I did of the sand dunes. You put the feet or the thrusters, I believe. That's a picture of my speeder. And carrying on from last time, the only real place of Pilgrim's Road is Old Mary's, a shack with a few tables and chairs and a cool reservoir. This went dry before I was born. The cool air is long gone, but there's still a shade and a trough of balls. Old Mary's collection of tents. Old Mary's pub is mostly cybernetic parts. When they get her up, they discard her ability to make conversation. Don't mess with Miru. The last time someone made that mistake, she came out of that her shack, the biggest gun I've ever seen. The sound of her clicking of the safety shut everybody up. Meru has one flesh and blood arm covered in military tattoos. Don't get caught looking, though she'll throw you out for being curious. She doesn't like people being curious or being anything else. Tattoos are copied. Oh, she wasn't looking. I wonder if Miru got those tattoos serving with the rebellion or the Empire, or some mercenary outfit. I wonder, but I don't ask. Like a lot of people in Jakku, Miru doesn't talk about how she got here, and I don't ask. Come to think of it, that's a good lesson. Second lesson for survival in Jakku. Don't ask. If you cross the Badlands away from the Pilgrim's Road, you might see Tito's looking for salvage, scavengers coming back from the graveyard of ships, bandits hunting prey, or prospector, pilgrim, hermit, or who knows what. There's a time you won't see anybody, and that's for the best. A Tito traveller. Yes, Tito's. Ugh. goes on to have a few permanent residents. Also, his neighbour is the one people know the least about. They call him the Sitter. You'll find him near Pidham's Road, amongst in the shadow of Carbon Ridge. You can't miss him. He's the only thing visible for kilometres. A hunched figure sitting atop a pillar in the sun. This picture of the Sitter. Sitter's human, but I don't know how old he is. He looks skinny and tiny and ancient, dressed in rags bleached by the sun. But you look that way, too, if you did what he does. If you pass by pillar at sunrise or sunset, you might see the Sitter climbing up and down, or otherwise he just sits cross-legged atop his pillar, completely still. As far as I know, he's never spoken certainly. He's never said anything to crazy people who think he's a prophet or stands beneath his pillar asking him questions. When people bother the Sitter, the Tito will show up and chase them away. Without the Titos, the Sitter would have died a long time ago. They bring him spinebrow flesh, night blossom rind and water. As far as I know, he never talks to them either. I don't know why they help him. They're Titos. Sometimes that's the only explanation for what they do. There's a picture of the Titos on the way to the Sitter. It's been a while since I've been to Jakku, and that's a good reason. I go on this one, where I lived. I lived in a topple ATT walker in Gozon. Strange place, but it's mine. It lengths give me a secure place to park my speeder and cover if I need to get away in a hurry. But I spend most of my time inside the belly. Instead of a front door, I've got an auxiliary hatch in the underside of the walker. Troops would have used it only as an emergency. They would have entered the side hatch. But well, that shut a long time ago. Unka trades rations for the gear scavengers salvaged from the graveyard. That's it. No credits, no barter except for food. I live in the lower troop deck. There's a speeder, bike garage, and upper troop deck. But I mostly use just the one room. I don't even think of it as sideways anymore. I live there long enough that it feels the right this way. What do I do when I'm home? Mostly I refurbish gear, a workbench. It costs too much to make. Extensive repairs at Unkar's washing tables in Nîmes. I have an old Y-wing computer display. Used it to study schematics of rebel and imperial starships, and run flight sims, and practice alien languages, and droid speak so I can talk to people in Nîmes. In my sleep, I made myself a hammock when I was just a kid. First it was huge, and I would feel lost in the middle of it. Now it fits more snugly. Dinner is the same thing every night, survival rations. The only variety is whether I get Imperial rations or the New Republic kind. Both are pretty much the same. New Republic rations taste a bit better, but the Imperial stuff is less likely to be stale after all these years. This is home sweet home. Here's where the hammock is. Okay. I have an old rebel helmet I've kept around. One of the first things I ever found scourging the graveyard. Name on it says Captain Dosmid Ray of the Tierfawn Yellow Aces. When I was a kid, I had to make up stories about Captain Rage. Rage. About who she was and what planet she might have come from. That's why I made a dollar flight uniform that I found in a container. Put my helmet, help Captain reach, explore the walker, and descend outside, and together we find lost rebels, get back on the ships. But I'm doing that anymore. Kept these things anyway, drawn myself how far I've come, I guess. A few things at home to help me pass the time. Collect flowers and spine-roll blooms and night blossoms and displayed and draw myself that there's beauty everywhere. I look hard enough, even on Jakku. Here's a picture of them. And that's what you know for now. Now I want to go and study this. But now I want you to practice your force. I'm still learning how to be a good Jedi Master myself. It's difficult with the help of Master Skywalker. But I am doing my best. How is your healing? All you have to do when it comes to healing is to feel the force around you, to transfer your energy into the person or the being that you'd like to transfer it to. And in this sense, sons of good people are wary of the dark side. I was almost pretty privy to the dark side at once, and I saw it stare into me. That's why I need to be careful. It promises to give, but all it does is takes. It took my friend once. It took many of my friends. It's never given to hatred or anger, because it will consume you. And that's not to say that you're weak, but that's to say that we are all vulnerable to the dark side, even me. Even right now, I still watch myself. I look at the problems of the past and learn from them. I don't let the doctorate of the Old Republic, of the Old Jedi Council, sway my judgment or blind me from what might come. I am wary of the Sith. I do doubt they'll return again. However, we should not be too relaxed about this. Of course, the most important thing to remember is to hope for better. You can always do better, and that's a good thing to remember. Okay, let me feel you. See how you're doing. Okay. Yes. You're doing quite well. So go. Please remember the Force is with you. I must continue my meditation.